Why do most guys fail at dating Asians online? I wanted to give you a practical example of a friend of mine who had some really bad luck lately. I wanted to point out some of the major pitfalls guys have to go through when dating Asian women online. The most common, the most obvious problem that so many of us run into when dating Asians online is the perfect trap. And what I mean by a perfect trap is that so many Asian women portray to be this gorgeous princess, this beautiful angel floating on a cloud, when in reality they are just a regular girl, or even worse than that, they're below average looking. And the reason why that's happening to so many men, and most men aren't aware of it until it's already too late, until they met the girl offline and they really saw what she looked like, is because of the power of online tools, the power of Photoshop. You can take any person, any girl that's way below average looking, let's say she's a 2 out of 10, her face is a 2 out of 10, and you can turn her into a 10 out of 10. How do you do it, you ask? Well, you put on some nice makeup, use Photoshop. I mean, they just know how to play the game a lot better than you and I know. And that's why so many guys fall into this trap and actually end up with a girl that is below what they deserve, below their standards. And it reminds me of a story that a friend of mine told me, how he was getting so excited about this girl. She was so pretty, and they talked online, and she sent him all these photos, and they even had a video call. But the problem on video calls these days is that they're mostly conducted via the phone. And they're very, the quality is very pixelated, so you don't really know who you're dealing with until you see that person in real. And that's exactly what he did. He met up the girl and he saw her and he was just shocked. So they met up, and she just didn't look anything like in the photos, and she was way below average looking. And it was just an example of an instance, and it happened to many of us, when you met a girl and she didn't look anything like in the photos, and you were very disappointed when you met her, because online, the problem is, the pictures, they portray a fake image. They portray a fake person. Why? Because it's all created to perfection. Women want to look hot, they want to look perfect, they're only sending you the best photos, they're not going to show you the other 9 photos. Let's say a woman has 10 photos, she's going to show you the best out of those 10 photos. She's not going to take the worst. Why? Because she doesn't want to create a bad impression. It's all about perfectionism. It's all about the best possible representation of oneself. But that's not how life works. If you live together with someone, you're going to see her without makeup, you're going to see her after she ate a lot of chocolate, she's whatever. But you're not going to have this perfect person in front of you all the time. That's just not how it works. But who is going to upload a photo that's not even close to perfect? Nobody does that. In the online dating world, nobody does that, right? And so a lot of guys are actually shocked when they meet their match and they learn that, this is not the person I expected. So yeah, Photoshop or other photo editing apps play a huge role, and they obviously enable the woman, to look a lot better than she actually does. And that's one of the reasons why online dating is so difficult, and why so many men, get trapped, thinking that they found the most beautiful girl on earth, when in reality, they are actually dealing with a below average looking girl. Which leads us to point 2, and that is most women, and also men online, it's for us too. We don't talk about the problems. We only talk about the things we're good at, the things we like, so you look at the profile and you think like you're dealing with a perfect person, where in reality, there's no perfect person. Because if every person was a 10 out of 10, and we're not just talking about looks, we're talking about personality, we're talking about intelligence, we're talking about past history, we're talking about whatever, friends, family. No person is perfect. But online, everyone portrays that everything is perfect because that's what we're being told. People are being brainwashed 24/7 that the way that life should be is without problems. When in reality, it's nothing like that. Life is about pros and cons, and most of the times, or often, we're going to have problems, and people don't admit to that. So when you look through these profiles and people love traveling, you see the traveling photos and you see all the great stories they had. They talk about their adventures, the places they have visited. But what they don't talk about are their problems. Not on the profile, at least. Once you get to know them better, surely they're going to talk about it, which is living proof that most people are not real. They are not real. They're fake online. They're just not real. They're not talking about the bad stuff. They're only talking about the good stuff. And they're giving you a misrepresentation of who they really are. A major problem of dating women online is the women that you meet online, they have so many options. You're not the only guy they're considering. In fact, they're considering so many other guys. And since they haven't really, gotten to know you, they haven't really met you physically, they're very likely to move on to a different person until they met you physically and they see that, okay, this could be the guy I want to be with. But unless that happens, they're gonna keep a lot of side pieces. And in fact, you are a side piece as well. Unless you actually together, unless you're actually living together, unless you're actually living in the same city, you're meeting regularly, and even then, there's no guarantee. In love, there's no guarantee. In life, there's no guarantee, never. So if you meet a person and you feel like, online, you found her, you really like her, she's into you, and what happens a lot of the times is that people just have to wait a couple of days to get to smell the really ugly, disgusting smelling truth, which often is that those women, that woman that they were talking about, that they wanted to meet so bad, has already gone upset. That woman is already talking to another dude. That woman is gone. And why is she gone? Well, she met someone that she thinks is a better fit for her. And how could she even know that? Having known that other person so well, it's the shiny object syndrome. They're drawn to what's shinier, to what seems to be the better option, when in reality it really isn't. So they missed a really good chance, being with you just because they were impatient, just because, they're bombarded with so many different people. Guys are sending them messages 24/7, nonstop. They just keep sending messages. And so unless you're very aggressive, you're just not going to have a shot. And the people who are usually very good at online dating are the attackers. The people that go all in, that push the boat really hard, that move ahead very quickly, that are very persistent. Because if you're not very persistent, somebody else will. The problem is that love is very conditional. And that's something that goes beyond online dating. It's actually the next step. Once you met, love is very conditional, and it has a lot to do with how things start online. They only meet you because of how you looked in the photos. They met you because of what they think they're going to get out of their life, because they saw the fancy vacations you took maybe, or maybe they saw your crazy lifestyle and they were attracted to that. It doesn't matter what it was something external. And anytime you're attracted to the external, you're going to end up with a broken heart. The woman as much as the man. The women are oftentimes, very attracted to the superficial, but we men are too. We have to be honest with ourselves, if we can choose two women, let's say there's two identical women in front of us. They're both good housewives. They're both, good at raising your children, your future children. They're all nice. They have a charming personality. They're very feminine. Let's say there's two women like that, but one is a lot better looking than the other one. If you're online and you see these type of women, what a lot of men would do is they would contact the hotter one because that's what they are attracted to. It is just nature. We want to go with whoever is best looking. And that's exactly the same for women too. They want to go with the best looking guy. They want to be with the tallest guy, with the most handsome guy, with the richest guy, with the most popular, the nicest, the most charming, the most supportive. They want to have all this, but is it really realistic to have all of this in one person? It usually isn't. Love is very conditional. They're like, well, he gives me this, I'm going to be with him. He doesn't give me this anymore, I'm not going to be with him anymore. And that's very unfortunate because it is conditional. It is not love. It's based on the external, not the internal. True love is based on acceptance and internal. And how many people do you know that have found true love, lasting true love? It is very rare. It is almost unheard of. I know just very few people, I don't know a ton of people that have found a person that's worth it. And how do they know? How do I know? Well, they've been together for decades. And that's the only proof. That's the only time when you will ever know. And you will only know once you've been together for a couple of decades. You know, for a couple of years, you know, everything could be shiny, everything could be good. People change, you know, the rhythm changes, what they want changes, you know, their lifestyle changes. People influence them, they change. You change too. We all change, right? We want different things. Until you are in a state of full acceptance and you really appreciate the internal, you haven't found true love. Now that we talked about all the pitfalls of online dating, what are the solutions? The chances of having success in online dating are slim to none. The probability of you finding a person that is a good match, a person that you have communalities with, a person, you know, that you can do things with together is very, very small. But what you can do is you can just try a new hobby, or if you have already a hobby, that's even better. You don't need to convince yourself to start a new hobby just to meet a person. If you already have something that you've been doing for a long time that you love, that you're passionate about, where you can go out, you can meet people, and potentially you're gonna meet a person with similar interests, a person with communalities. And if you meet a person with communalities, you have found the person you can build on, because you didn't just meet because you were attracted to each other, you know, externally because of some fake photos that she posted or you posted. That would be a good base. You know, you having similar interests, that's great. You having similar thinking, similar goals, that's also important, but similar interests is usually one of the biggest catalysts, you know, as to why people stay together long term. What is your experience dating Asian women online? Do you have good experience? Did you have bad experience? We want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let us know. Subscribe now and turn on alerts to never miss any of my future nomadism, dating, and business advice videos. I highly recommend that you grab a free copy of my latest ebook, The Nomad Elite Income Booster, your go-to guide for creating passive income streams using the internet. All you need to do is click on the link below the video. And if you got some more time left, check out these videos. Thank you for watching.